Budget has allocated almost 50 billion cedis to finance the construction of almost 2,000 kilometers of road at the same time. Not in stages, at the same time, all over the country, 2,000 kilometers of roads are being worked on. And every part of the country, every region is getting its fair share of the roads. And so I can assure you, my father, Bimila and Nanung area would not be left out.
A while longer the presidency because Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has reiterated government's commitment to continue to provide the needed infrastructure to support agribusiness with a focus on tomato production and value addition. She gave the assurance during a meeting with executives of GB Foods in Barcelona, Spain. Hannah Odame has more.
The Vice President's visit to Spain forms part of efforts to reduce Ghana's dependence on tomato imports by strengthening local production and expanding exports of value-added tomato products. Professor Opoku-Agyeman, who reiterated government's commitment to fully support investment in the agricultural value chain, also highlighted the impact this will have for domestic production capacity as well as industrial processing.
And you know that we have placed a big emphasis on infrastructure, because we believe that that's a foundation for the economic uptake of our country. So we can hear you on some of your requests, especially to do with irrigation. You know, we know where the Afram plains are located and its proximity to water. So we are looking forward to everybody supporting us and in ensuring that we are making the maximum use of our resources, whether natural or otherwise.
She added, such initiatives will create sustainable employment opportunities, improve rural livelihoods, and contribute significantly to national economic growth. Director of Corporate Affairs Africa for GB Foods, Teddy Ingo, revealed the company has secured about 6,000 hectares of land in the Afram Plains for the project, and this is expected to also improve tomato supply stability in Ghana. The partnership is expected to ensure a long-term sustainability of the project while strengthening Ghana's food security. For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
Away from the presidency, former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame has slammed the government for allegedly orchestrating deliberate attacks and detentions of opposition members without any tangible justifications. According to him, some judges are also purportedly abetting the activities of the NDC by engaging in inappropriate remand decisions and what he describes as frivolous prosecutions of individuals for expressing their views on matters of national interest. Speaking during the leadership and the law series organized by the Law Students Network in Accra, Mr. Dame believes much actions are casting a slur on the integrity of the judiciary.
This inalienable human right was easily recognized in the Akufo-Addo administration, but has now become a very endangered commodity. Some members of the judiciary have also, sad to say, become willing enablers of these violations with unjustified detentions of opponents of the ruling party. The unwarranted denial of bail to members of the MPP and frivolous prosecution of a few for expression of views on matters of public interest cast a slur on the integrity and independence of the judiciary. The most absurd effort to suppress free expression was witnessed in the baseless arrest, prosecution, and denial of bail to some members of the MPP recently for expression of their views on the LGBTQ matter through the circulation of materials in the form of caricature of some members of the John Mahama administration.
He also described the recently passed legal education bill in Parliament, which forms part of the NDC's research agenda, as ill thought out and one that could lead the nation onto a dangerous path.
I noticed that this NDC administration, which is fast giving up to a standard of incompetence that the people of this country identified them by in the recent past, has enacted a new Legal Profession Act. The unwholesome reforms they have purported to introduce will be the subject of critique on another day. I can, however, say that like everything they touch in a bid to reset, it is ill thought through and can only lead the nation down a very dangerous pathway. Be that as it may, I assure you that you have chosen the path to a very noble profession. The steps to winning beyond the classroom and in law and politics start from right here. It cannot be doubted that your biggest preoccupation now must be getting out of this place with flying colors, buoyed up with enthusiasm to contribute to the valor to the quest to recapture power from the incompetent and disadministration.
This is still JoyNews Prime. We have more for you after this break.
Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke. Fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and your fufu. But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back.
Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Eye bribiki tuebi na yede bo nya yedɔ ho ban. Ɔhwepa enye dede na emom ene sɛ obenya bre ahweyie ne enioma kituebi a yebeye no yie.
Oja ashwaye she asefreme so na hwe me hu ye de biara.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix. Taste of Ghana.
Hello again, welcome back to JoyNews Prime. It was meant to be a symbol of progress, a new regional coordinating council building paid for with Ghana's petroleum wealth. But just 2 years on, the structure is already showing signs of decay. That damning revelation came to light at a Pious public forum in Techiman municipality, where the committee openly questioned value for money. Anna Sabit reports.
A gathering of department heads, civil society groups, assembly members and the media all in one room here in Techiman. This was Pious' latest stop on its mandate to protect the public's interest in Ghana's petroleum funds. Under Section 51 of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, the committee is required to keep citizens informed. Richard Elima is the chairman of Pious.
If you look at the mandate of Pious, one of the key things we are required to do under the law is to engage the people of Ghana on petroleum revenue management issues. So basically we are in Techiman for two things. One, to inspect petroleum revenue management projects, and then also to engage the people of Techiman.
He disclosed that the committee inspected 3 projects funded by the petroleum revenue here in Techiman, which includes the RCC building, but noted that the committee is disappointed with the work done, noting that there were some wear and tear issues in the building, which is less than 2 years old after its commissioning.
You see some wear and tear. You can see some of the tiles peeling off. If If you go to the washroom, some stuff are, pulling off and all that. So it's a bit disappointing. Obviously, there's no value for money. Obviously, we have noted all our observations. They are going to inform our semi-annual report, which will be published in September.
That frank assessment from PIAC Chairman Richard Elima set the tone, but the concerns did not stop there. Local government officials here used the platform to voice a long-standing grievance, the uneven spread of development. Isaac Donko is the municipal chief executive for Kintampo North.
When you look at the geographical nature of our Bono East here, we have an enclave we call the Far East. And the projection that they did to us, we realized that all the projects that were done were centered in Techiman. So that is in line with that. As the dean of the MMDCs, I have to add my voice so that it cuts across the whole of the Bono East.
Anas Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Malik Basintale, has bemoaned the increasing abuse of drugs and opioids in the country, particularly among the youth. Speaking during an official two-day visit to the Upper West region, he lamented about the menace. Rafiq Salam reports.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Malik Basintale, for the past few weeks, has embarked on regional tours, visiting departments that are under his agency to acquaint himself with their operations and the challenges they face with a view to finding lasting solutions to them. He also used the opportunity to engage with some identifiable youth groups in the region, interact with students of the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies and inmates of the Bahas Mental and Reformation Center. Speaking to the media, he bemoaned the increasing abuse of drugs in the country, particularly among the youth.
I'm highly worried because we've had very brilliant minds and brilliant people who we have lost. There are people I grew up with, even in my communities, that today I see, and I just know that we've lost them. Clearly, because these are brilliant minds who have engaged in different drugs. What scares me a lot is that just when we started fighting red, now the people say red is even the basic drug. They have now gone beyond red.
Malik Basintale calls for the establishment of regional rehabilitation centers across the country to deal with the drug menace.
Encourage everyone, including our chiefs, our security agencies, and especially for us to expand and create a lot of rehabilitation centers in all regions. I think that it should be something the Ghana Psychiatric or Mental Health Authority should take up and also speak to His Excellency the President or the Minister responsible for health on, that every region should have a government rehabilitation center.
The YEA CEO pledged to work assiduously to ensure that the youth in the country has not only work to do, but live a dignified life.
I promised I will not be an armchair CEO who sits in his office and manages the affairs. I'll come down to see the things, and at least coming down, not only issues peculiar to YA, but issues at large. And I think that we would continue to do our best as a government.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Let's stay a while longer within the region because the District Assembly has commissioned 10 newly constructed boreholes to address severe water shortages in several communities, including the Ghana National Fire Service Station in Wichel. Rafiq Salam again.
The beneficiary communities which received 900 pump boreholes include Jagalo, Ponyamayiri, Yekorunteng, Nadezer, Diase, Pule, Loten, Workable, and Dapalting. A 10 fully mechanized borehole was installed specifically for Wichel Fire Station. The mechanized borehole at the Wichel Fire Station comes as a major relief for the personnel. District Fire Officer ADO1 Memura Bayaba expressed profound gratitude, noting that the command has suffered for some time due to the water situation.
We have suffered for some time because of water situation, but thank be to God, Assembly people have come to our aid and they have given us this project. We thank the District Chief Executive so much for his good works.
Addressing the gathering at the station, District Chief Executive for Wa West, Richard Wulu, revealed that the initiative followed a direct plea from the fire commander, emphasizing that the fire service needs water to execute its mandatory duties.
I thank the Member of Parliament for the collaborative efforts. In fact, when the issue came, I discussed with him. He indicated that there are a number of boreholes or number of communities that have submitted their proposals for us to consider them with boreholes. So while he was drilling boreholes in some other parts of the district, he encouraged me that we should mechanize this one right here for the fire service station. And today it has come to fruition.
Warwick's Member of Parliament, Superintendent Retired Peter Lenchene Tubu, echoed this critical need.
I will request the DCE to take 20,000 Ghana cedis from my account, my common fund account, and create a shed for the fire engine. So that at least when you pack it, the temperature as we speak now is about 38 degrees. You pack a fire engine outside with a temperature of 38 degrees, it will negatively affect the engine.
The new boreholes marks an end to years of relying on contaminated streams. The Korontin Assembly member Manan Zumuru lamented that residents previously had to compete with animals for drinking water during dry season.
We are so grateful. Years back, these communities, they drink from streams, and during the dry season, sometimes they have to compete with animals to be able to get water to drink.
While celebrating the water projects, community leaders used the occasion to appeal for further interventions, particularly the extension of the electricity grid and the rehabilitation of poor road networks. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Ponyamayiri.
The orphanage village of Hope in Gomwafete has given children who have either lost their parents or have been abandoned a second chance to live. The village provides healthcare, education in a family setting to enable the children to thrive. This requires daily provision of basic items which runs out so quickly due to the huge numbers. Acknowledging such needs, the SHSs Foundation, headed by Sarah Mensah, has donated stationery and food items to the village to complement their efforts. Speaking at the presentation, Sarah Mensah, who is also a journalist at the Multimedia Group Limited, indicated her commitment to continue supporting the orphanage and other vulnerable groups catering for children. Hanodame reports.
Over the years, SHSs Foundation has been providing abandoned children in orphanages with basic needs. This, the CEO, Sarah Mensah, says, gives her joy as she knows that act nourishes the children and also makes them happy.
Living in children is one of the precious gifts you can give to them as they grow. So this is why I have chosen to focus on them each time I have to give back to society. I'm committed to growth of these children in the orphanage and in my community as well. The reason why I focused on them on my birthday, because we know they are our future.
The children who enjoyed the many gifts and love shown them by the SHSs Foundation expressed their joy through lots and lots of dance. For JoyNews, I am Hannah Odame.
Big ups to Sarah Mensah. That's it for JoyNews Prime. I am Pious Kojo Backah. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Grateful serving you.
Viewers, you're welcome to the Flight Deck TV show where every flight tells a story. You'd agree with me that Ghana has a rich aviation history. However, the story largely remains untold, mainly because of the absence of a national carrier. Many Ghanaians say Ghana Airways had very good pilots. Yes, most of them were forced outside the shores of this country to practice their craft elsewhere. The Flight Deck TV show today comes to you from the residence of one of our accomplished Ghana Airways pilots who just went on retirement with some 40 years in the flight deck and over 20,000 hours of flying time. It is my pleasure to welcome to the flight deck a captain par excellence who became a lawyer, then an evangelist. Please help me make welcome to the flight deck our one and only Captain Mike Yao Foley. Captain, you're welcome to the flight deck.
Thank you for having me.
Captain, you're most welcome.
Let me start by, my name is Michael.
Michael, not Mike. So let's do the full one. Captain Michael Yao Foley. Thank you for the correction.
Thank you for having me.
Captain, where have you been? You disappeared on us. Since the demise of Ghana Airways, you disappeared on us. Yes. Where have you been?
Since the demise of Ghana Airways, that period, of course, became a period of introspection for every pilot. But I was practicing law from 2004 to 2006. Then I left to join Saudi Arabian Airlines to fly until 2018. And I retired from flying.
Interesting. Welcome back home.
Thank you.
We will delve deeper into that. But Captain, tell us, when did you start flying? At what age did you start flying?
I finished my sixth form in 1978. And at the time I finished, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had gained admission to Massachusetts Institute of Technology to do nuclear technology. I had gained admission to Shaw University in North Carolina to do computer engineering. I got admission to Legon, I got admission to Tech, and I really didn't know what
You were spoiled for choice.
I was spoiled for choice.
Interesting.
Then one evening, my father called me and said, "Oh, Michael, there is this advert in the Ghanaian Times. Ghana Airways wants cadets to be recruited for pilot training. Would you be interested?" Somehow, as soon as he asked me this question, a light went off. And I knew that was it for me.
Wow.
So I applied. And then we were interviewed, quite a number of us. I don't call the number, but it was a large number, about 2 days. And I happened to be, by the grace of God, one of the 5 to be selected.
Wait a minute. You mean that out of the large number, only 5 were selected?
Only 5 were selected.
And you made it to?
In fact, I was the number 1 on the list.
Oh.
I was the first to be interviewed, and I was the first on the list to be announced as those who had passed through.
Wow.
So that's a long answer to your short question. I was just 20 years and 1 month old.
Oh my goodness. That is something. Wow. So let me take you back. Captain, which schools did you attend and where did you grow up?
Where do you want to start from? Primary school?
Let's do the... Wherever you're comfortable with, that's fine.
I started primary school from Aplawu EP Experimental.
Interesting.
Remember those days? Well, maybe you are not that old. But to be admitted to class 1, you'll have to...
You pass your arm to the other side, touch the other ear.
I had a challenge. First of all, I was too young to go to class 1. Secondly, I had a big head. In fact, I still have a big head.
Oh no, this head is not big.
So there was a lady teacher in our compound who gave me the pre-interview. So she asked me, listen, granted your head is a bit big, but this is what you're going to do. Tilt your head a bit to the right, and then you touch it. So I went and I did it, tilted my head, and then my finger just stopped, and I was taken to class 1. Then we moved to Tema. My parents were transferred to Tema. I continued from class 3, Ivory Road Primary School. And then I went to Sugakope. secondary school.
Okay. Okay.
Then I finished off in Bishop Herman College.
Interesting.
For my sister.
Biheko.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's a long answer to your short question.
Which year did you complete Biheko?
1978. I think
78.
we wrote the exams in June.
Usually.
1978.
Okay. A levels. A levels because you were, interesting.
Then that same November or so, that's when we were called for the interview.
Okay. What's the name of the flying school you?
We were trained in, the name of the flying school is Oxford Air Training School in the UK. Oxford Air Training School. You see, Ghana always needed pilots, but there were considerations. First of all, you must be academically good. Secondly, because they were going to spend so much money in training you, they must make the maximum out of you. So they recruited mainly those who just finished the sixth form, and there were a few graduates too in the group.
How old are you now, if I may ask?
Now I just turned 67.
Whoa, Captain, you look too good for 67.
It's the grace of God.
You look...
and my wife's cooking.
Oh, we want to salute her too. And so, the 5 of you who were selected, did you all make it through the training? Did you all pass?
Oh, okay. 2 of us branched off to engineering. So 3 of us finished the pilot training. 2 became very accomplished engineers, and 3 of us.
Do you want to mention them?
Oh, the engineers were Joe Brown,
okay,
a very clever child. Then Annan. Then the other pilots are Captain Backah.
Oh, I see.
Captain Kojo.
I see.
And myself.
I see. Interesting.
We're mates.
I see. Interesting. Oh, Captain, sincerely, you are one of our best. I cannot stop singing it.
Well, like
you're one of our best.
They say beauty lies in the eyes
of the beholder.
So that's your opinion.
Oh, I'm not too. What I profess will not be too different from what the others say. We don't see what you do in the flight deck, but we can only appreciate how you land the aircraft. And I recall with nostalgia some of your carpet landings. Your briefing, you will say, I promise you a carpet landing, and you deliver on that. That is one hallmark of yours we cannot overlook.
Well, Ghana Airways School are trained very well. I mean, from Oxford Air Training School, they are trained very well. Oxford Air Training School, not everybody completed.
Oh, okay.
I remember my instructor during my twin engine training. That's, you start by being trained on a single engine.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to the twin engine, which is an advanced level of training. One day, he was a chief instructor. He told me that, listen, he had an Iraqi pilot sent from the Air Force. Very good pilot. But one day he called the Iraqi Air Force chief pilot and said, withdraw this boy. He said, what do you mean? He said, withdraw him. He said, he's one of our best. He said, I know, but withdraw him. No, continue training him. So he said, you continue training him. The boy went back. The boy was overconfident. So he used this military aircraft, tried the maneuver, went beyond the envelope of the aircraft, crashed and died. So basic training, they see not just your competence, but your composure.
Composure, okay.
And because the school also have their reputation. So they'll say, no, this guy cannot continue. So we're trained well basically, the basic training. And then when we join Ghana Airways also, there's a sort of competition among the pilots.
Okay.
Plus the fact that at that time we had only 3 aircraft to our name. So we had to take care of it. Exactly. It's like if you have only 1 share. Well,
you better take care of it.
So in the flight deck, we have this competition, and also we have to take care of the aircraft and the pilot. So Ghana Airways School, we were well trained.
By the way, viewers, like I told you, Captain Foley was one of our best. I was privileged to be a cabin crew on his flights, and with Captain Foley in the flight deck, you felt good, you felt safe, and it's a big privilege to have him on the flight deck today. We're going to go on a short commercial break to acknowledge our sponsors. Please don't go away. Stay.
We are celebrating 7 years of passion in the skies. From our first takeoff in Accra to the heartlands of Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, Wa, and Sunyani, Passion Air has proudly connected Ghana for 7 incredible years. You know that's right. And through every challenge and every mile flown, we have remained steadfast and committed to delivering smooth and reliable air travel to you, our passengers. As we mark this remarkable milestone, we say thank you for flying with us, believing in us, and growing with us. This celebration is not just ours, it is yours too. We have weathered storms, soared above the clouds, and kept our sight high because your comfort and satisfaction have always been at the heart of our mission. Here is to 7 years of excellence and to many more journeys together. Passion Air, connecting Ghana, one city at a time.
This show is sponsored by
Viewers, you're welcome back to the flight deck. With me in the flight deck today is one of Ghana Airways' best accomplished pilots, Captain Michael Yao-Foley. Recently retired and having fun with us in the flight deck. Captain, what is it about putting an apple on the controls and landing?
Oh, this was Captain Spencer's
innovation kind of.
He was an instructor.
Okay.
So he used to train us how to land well. Because at that time, I'm sure you must have joined some foreign airlines. They just come and dump you on the runway. There are techniques to land softly. So he will teach you that, listen, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to land softly. So here is the apple here. It's away from all the controls because Captain Spencer was very safety conscious. So the apple will be away from all the controls. And he said, I'm going to demonstrate it. I'll land this aircraft smoothly. The apple
will still be where it is.
And then he'll demonstrate it, and then he'll go, wow.
Interesting. So, following from this, what makes a good pilot?
Now, when you talk about commercial pilot, we have private pilots who are trained just to fly as private pilots. They are not trained to the same level of competence as commercial pilots are trained. So every commercial pilot is a good pilot, basically, because you are trained, you are tested.
Exactly.
Okay. There is a saying in aviation that we have old pilots, we have bold pilots, but we don't have old, bold pilots. Now, a bold pilot is somebody who might like to take chances. They don't live long.
Mm-hmm.
They make the headlines in a very bad way. You don't take chances with the weather. So a good pilot basically is one who is disciplined. Because aircraft have their limits. The manufacturer will tell you these are the limitations of the aircraft. When you are being trained, you are also told that, listen, these clouds are dangerous. Go around them. But here's a weather radar. If you don't have any way around it, this is the way to penetrate the weather. Okay. We are coming into land. There are limits. If at a certain height you are not configured well or you cannot see the runway, do not continue. Go around. So a good pilot is one who follows all these rules. Plus, a good pilot also, in a cockpit, even if you're a captain, you are the overall boss, but you have to coordinate with the co-pilot. A good pilot is one who coordinates with his crew very well, who stay within the limits of the aircraft, his own competence, and also respects the weather. Cut corners.
Okay. So you're talking about discipline, teamwork.
Yes, discipline, teamwork, and part of the
stick
discipline.
To the rules.
Stick to the rules.
Yeah. There are very few young ones motivated to take up flying as a career. And so give us a bit of insight. How was your training like in flying school?
Well, like I said, first of all, you must meet the requirements of Ghana Airways. That guarantees that, A, You will not waste their money, you complete the training. And then the training is quite strict. You pass your ground school examinations, there are a series of flying tests to do. Okay. Then you are graduating. So you must have a solid background. You see, flying, piloting, you must have a good eye, hand, ear coordination. Yeah.
The reflexes need to be
yes, reflexes, but coordination, because you are doing many things at
the same time.
And your level of concentration and all. So anyone who aspires to be a pilot, first you must have an solid academic potential. You don't need to be a graduate, but you must have the potential. Because Ghana always recruited students who had solid science-based subjects for good reasons. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in the good old days, in our days, before and up to, Ghana always was recruiting and training.
Training, okay.
We don't have a national airline anymore. So today, if you want to be a pilot, there are two routes. You must have a rich father. Mm-hmm. You must have rich parents who can send you out to train. But again, when you come back with that training, you need an airline to fly with.
And so you have to meet their standards.
And then airlines will also not like to spend money training you to their standard. So it's a bit competitive now. Mm-hmm. The other route, again, is to join the Air Force.
Yeah.
If you satisfy their requirements.
I think Captain Spencer mentioned that.
If you satisfy the requirements, you fly for some time, and I think after a certain number of years, you can be, I don't know if the word is discharged, you can join the civilian fleet, released. So it's a shame that we don't have a national airline, because we have very, very competent, ambitious young men and women who want to fly, but the route is not like it used to be.
Back to my question again, walk us through how the training was like, the duration, how long it was?
We have a certain number of subjects you have to do, ground school. Okay, meteorology, engines, electricals, radio aids, I think about 8 or more subjects. You must pass all those.
With what percentage?
Oh, the pass mark, I don't recall. But some students from other schools will be repeated. Then you have to do you start flying. The whole course was advertised to last for, I think, 54 weeks. So I think that's just about a year.
A year has 52 weeks.
Yes, so I think this was 54. But in our school, the weather in that part, we're in the north of England.
Okay, so it's very
cold. In winter, the weather was bad.
Very cold.
And as a beginner, you couldn't fly when the weather is, you must see where you're going. That's called visual flying. So after that, you join Ghana Airways, now as a fresh pilot, ab initio. Then you start training on the aircraft type. So when we came back, we were sent back to Holland to learn to fly the Fokker 28. All right.
Which year is this?
Early part of 1980. And to fly an aircraft, you have to be tested in all the systems of the aircraft. All the systems.
If you say systems, what?
You must learn about the engines, the electrical structure of the aircraft, air conditioning, the pneumatics, the hydraulics, all the various things that come together. Then you now have to fly the simulator where they are throwing all sorts of scenarios, emergencies, abnormalities. You have to use the checkbook, the checklist. And then when we finished that training, then we came back. Then now you have to do what they call base training. You must learn how to now fly the aircraft itself, because we're using the simulator in Holland. Then for my training, the late Captain Kwachi Safo, he was my instructor on there.
Interesting.
The Dutch also came to do some training for me. Then Captain Kwachi Safo took over.
Oh, interesting. Kwachi Safo
of blessed
children are family friends.
Yes. Yes. Then I flew that. Normally you fly that as a co-pilot for some time. Then you progress to the next bigger aircraft, which was a DC-9 at the time.
Okay.
So I flew the DC-9 also for a while. And interestingly, my basic training was with the late Captain Danso. Okay. And then he released me. And then I flew for some time. Then I moved on to the DC-10.
DC-10.
As a co-pilot. Fokker F-28 as a co-pilot, DC-9 as a co-pilot, DC-10 as a co-pilot, where I was trained by the legendary Captain Pious Deacon Spencer.
Oh my goodness. One of our legends. One of our legends.
Yes.
Okay, so in all it was the F-28,
yes,
DC-9 and the DC-10.
Yes, Ghana Airways.
Which routes were you flying at the time, please?
F-28 were doing what we call the YAM routes.
Tamale.
Okay. Kumasi, Sunyani, Tamale, Kumasi, Sunyani, Tamale. We nicknamed it the YAM routes because you go and buy yam.
Yam in Tamale.
So we flew that for a while. Then when I moved on to the DC-9, we were flying the West Coast, Abidjan, Monrovia, then Freetown, Conakry, Banjul, Dakar. Then we were doing Lagos. Then you felt big because you moved on to a big island.
That is interesting. Wow.
Then we moved on to the DC-10, where we flew international routes.
Okay, so we'll come back and continue from the DC-10. By the way, viewers, like I told you, Captain Foley was one of our best. I was privileged to be a cabin crew on his flights, and I mean, with Captain Foley in the flight deck, you felt good, you felt safe, and it's a big privilege to have him on the flight deck today. We're going to go on a short commercial break to acknowledge our sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue from the DC-10. Please don't go away. Stay.
We are celebrating 7 years of passion in the skies. From our first takeoff in Accra to the heartlands of Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, Wa, and Sunyani, Passion Air has proudly connected Ghana for 7 incredible years. You know that's right. And through every challenge and every milestone, we have remained steadfast and committed to delivering smooth and reliable air travel to you, our passengers. As we mark this remarkable milestone, we say thank you for flying with us, believing in us, and growing with us. This celebration is not just ours, it is yours too. We have weathered storms, soared above the clouds, and kept our sight high because your comfort and satisfaction have always been at the heart of our mission. Here is to 7 years of excellence and to many more journeys together. Passion Air, connecting Ghana, one city at a time.
This show is sponsored by
Viewers, you're welcome back to the flight deck. With me in the flight deck today is one of Ghana Airways' best accomplished pilots, Captain Michael Yao Foley. Recently retired and having fun with us in the flight deck. Captain, you were taking us to the DC-10.
Yes.
Was it a fun aircraft to fly? Did you enjoy flying compared to the F-28 and the DC-9?
F-28 to DC-9 to DC-10 is a progression that everybody wanted. So on the DC-10, it's like now you've reached the top.
You have arrived.
We are Burma. You are man. You know?
Wow.
So I was privileged to be trained, to have been trained by a very good instructor.
So well, the apple does not fall too far from the tree.
Well,
So.
you know, let me, if you allow me, let me
Go ahead.
speak a bit more about Captain Spencer.
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
He was a very technical pilot, very disciplined, but also very friendly. You know.
Interesting. A man of many parts.
Yes. In the cockpit, on the flight deck, he insisted on professionalism, but he made you feel at ease. And then he gave you confidence. He imparted confidence in you. Being trained by him gave me a lot of confidence. So I really enjoyed flying the DC-10.
You know, following the demise of Ghana Airways, there's this perception out there, the aircrafts were old, they were outmoded. I want to disabuse minds of viewers. Tell us how sophisticated these DC-10 aircrafts were.
Oh, at the time the DC-10 was manufactured, it was quite sophisticated. I think there was another aircraft called the L-1011, Lockheed 1011, which was a competitor. Those who flew the Lockheed 1011 also swore to its sophistication, but I didn't fly. I never flew the L-1011. DC-10 was quite sophisticated. At that time, we had 3 engine aircraft, which were flying because there was a rule that if you want to fly over the ocean, you must have more than 2 engines on the aircraft. Unless, if you want to fly a 2-engine aircraft across the ocean, you must be within a certain minutes from the nearest, like in case there is an emergency, in case you lose an engine, you can divert. So the DC-10, in fact, the DC-10 survived, outlived the L-1011. You know, so I ended my career in Ghana Airways on the DC-10.
Sure. Viewers, it's been an interesting discourse. I hope you had a good time listening to Captain Michael Yao Foley. I did. We look forward to seeing you on our future episodes. Thank you for staying through with us. Good night.
My name is Backah. My friends call me Blue. Sometimes you want to skate, but mostly you don't have a lot of obstacles or different things to try with, you know. So mostly we just have flat ground, but this has different things to try. So I'm going to try everything that I can here. It's not just flat, you know. So it's gonna make me improve.
We usually used to skate the streets, in front of people's shops, empty spaces that were not used, National Theatre, the Trade Fair, and other demolished places like Mile 7 right now. We usually have a lot of problems using people's spaces because they are private spaces and they have problems with us skateboarding there, so we get kicked out most of the time when we do our own thing.
It's sad that he wasn't here himself to see what his work, you know, had done. And yeah, but I'm sure that wherever he is, he knows that we're happy and we appreciate whatever it is that he did for us.
It's a very, very big opportunity for people like me because we need to develop what we have as talents.
Some say we all day matter, inside we all they suffer. Something they cause me, they cause you, they cause your son and daughter. Where we all feel come together and try to sort each other. Then you go turn around and sell out just because of dollar. Man just they think how fast he go fetch up something today. Forget about him, people make them find them our own way. Forgetting say the same people put on for where he day. He cast too high to see suffering below, he's too far away. Them get ice, but them know they see. Them get hot, but them know they feel. Some too they get mind, but them know they think. That be why we all day inside a boat where we they sink. I say them get ice, but them know they see. Them get hot, but them know they feel. Some too they get mind, but them know they think. That be why we all day inside a boat where we they sink. Myopia, they know they see nothing. Ice cold heart, they know they feel nothing. Bad minds, all they know they think about you. That be why we all day inside a boat where we they sink. I say, myopia, they know they see nothing. Ice cold heart, they know they feel nothing. Bad minds, all they know they think about you. That be why we all day inside a boat where we they sink. I say them get ice, but them know they see. Them get hot, but them know they feel. Some too they get mind, but them know they think. That be why we all day inside a boat where we they sink. I say them get ice, but them know they see. Them get hot, but them know they feel. Some too they get mind, but them know they think. That be why we all day inside a boat where we they sink.
It's early morning here in Teshi, and a group of men are pulling a wooden canoe from the sea. They hold onto a long rope, leaning back in unison and chanting as they work against the force of the waves. The sea is rough, and every step forward is resisted by the incoming tide. This has always been part of the fishing life here, but the conditions are no longer the same. Fishermen say the sea has become more aggressive and unpredictable. Fewer people go fishing compared to previous years. Rising sea levels and frequent strong tides now determine when fishermen can go to sea, and in many cases, when they must stay back. When they are unable to fish, they spend time repairing nets and assessing damage from previous trips. 50-year-old Moses Abeka Okai says the sea has become increasingly difficult to manage and is affecting the ability to work safely. Along this coast, today, he says the sea no longer causes small damage, but wipes out his boats and nets completely.
Hello, Yako Agbla na backpack and be Shabune. If you are a condemned, no not be after. You are last 3 years here. And call ya and coach on and call it. No fear no yin pata.
Then I to a new machine. Every tomorrow, many about to understand by Naba confusion. Many no, many about to much more son Germany. And a fini, nobody show giddy again. Blay no go film do besani what's the everything pp everything man bi wa agboye mi agboye everything pp look am la lo ba ni wo se ne ba fa wo yi ne ba bu wo yi ne le anya chula kan chuma ko je wa kola ke patient na ke ba gbe wo sanune na ke ba ho won we ba jo fi o woni won piece of man fi o.
Experts say what is happening along Ghana's coast reflects a broader coastal challenge. Africa's Special Envoy on Climate Change, Dr. Samuel Doche, underscores the impact of coastal erosion and rising sea levels on livelihoods.
Their livelihood depends on the sea. So if you get up in the morning, because they have seasons that they go to sea, if you get up in the morning and the sea becomes very boisterous, you cannot go. So what it means is that that is where you get your daily bread from. So once you are not able to go, it means that day you have to go hungry. It means that day, if your child is sick, you can't send the child to the hospital. It means that if you have to get money from your fishing to pay school fees, it means that your child have to stay home. So it's an opportunity where some children, including their parents, will be subjected to a kind of a mental torture, which is more, I would describe it as an injustice against their survivor.
The High Court has dropped a judicial bombshell, declaring all prosecutions by the Office of the Special Prosecutor void and ordering the Attorney General to take over. Is this the death knell of the OSP or a necessary reset? Does the High Court possess the power to do what it has done? The MPP cries over the arrest of Abronya. That's the second time. And Baba Amando for speech offenses, free speech or reckless speech. Where do we draw the line? Government cuts fuel costs, absorbing 2 cedis per litre on diesel and 36 pesos on petrol. Relief at the pumps or just political optics? We will be right back to deal with the vexed matters on your most authoritative news analysis show. We put Ghana first. I'm Samson Ladi Anyanini.
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
You guys are ready for what's about to happen? Only on Joy Prime Television.
All right.
Listen.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, my name is MC Kofi Darlington. Out here, my sister, the guy is quick. Giving the rappers the platform to show their flow. They go blow. Beats and bars is the hardest thing. You get past spit up, the baddest thing. This with the mic, make me see the fire. No darling, cause we know the tire.
Stage and it. Mike and I are ready. What's a rapper? So now you will rap. Beats and bars. You get bars, challenge.
Yo.
This is not just rap.
This is not just lyrics. This is war on the mic. Yes, you're welcome to Beats and Bars, the ultimate community rap show, live on Joy Prime Television. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we bring rappers from your community to show us what they've got.
Two communities, two fearless MCs. I'm the guy, Queen Sisters stand the beat. Hey, guy, and I'm doing it with my brother.
Yeah, you know when the queen is on, the king is on. My name is MC Kofi Darlington, the only MC with a sauce to spice it all up. And ladies and gentlemen, Beats and Bars, we say, you get bars, spit them. All right.
Rounds, freestyle, rep your community and brag. You know what I'm saying?
You heard that. You have just 3 rounds to prove yourself as a rapper. Every other Saturday, live on Joy Prime Television. Make sure you sit down, 8 p.m. Join us with some cool drink and enjoy the party, man. Your palm is smelling good. Beats Bars.
You got bars.
Spit down.
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
Welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And here is Samson's take. Ioko's pursuits of a member of the Council of States may due process win. Last Saturday, I shared a perspective here that was as much about the law as it was about the chilling prospects of institutional overreach. I spoke about Ioko's decision to declare a sitting member of the Council of State, Gabriel Kwamega, a wanted man. Yes, Iyoko declared him a fugitive from justice, despite a High Court ruling on March 19, which effectively pulled the rug from under Iyoko's feet. Since that broadcast, my attention has been drawn to a flurry of legal filings that suggest this battle is moving from the court of public opinion into a deep technical judicial trench. I've seen processes showing Iyoko is not taking the High Court's ruling lying down. On March 30, they filed an application seeking to stay execution of the ruling that unfroze the bank accounts of Sisi Edem Company Limited. Iyoko's appeal shows they are deeply aggrieved. Their argument, stripped of legalese, is that The court fundamentally misapprehended the facts, while Justice Richard Apietu held that the private transaction was a purely civil contractual dispute. That is to say, it was a breach of contract that had not even expired. EOCO maintains their preliminary investigations point to a criminal enterprise that the court simply overlooked. They argue that the court cannot and should not lawfully fetter the statutory investigative mandate of the state. They insist, contrary to the court's finding, that the gold deal with JG Resources Limited, worth over 57 million Ghana cedis, bears the hallmarks of fraud and money laundering. I must emphasize that the primary focus of my take last Saturday was not to determine the merits of the transaction. The focus was about non-compliance with a subsisting court ruling that rejected the claim of fraud and money laundering. In a constitutional democracy such as ours, we operate on a simple, non-negotiable hierarchy. The court makes a ruling, the state agency obeys that ruling, and if the state agency disagrees, it must resort to the same court to have the decision reversed. It cannot be issuing wanted posters while the judicial order is not suspended or overturned. You cannot claim to be enforcing the law while simultaneously showing contempt for the bench that interprets it. EOCO officials insist they have several petitions against this individual and that the reasonable suspicion threshold under their law has been met regardless of the High Court's current stance on the contractual nature of the disputes. Well, while EOCO was pursuing its application for stay of execution this week, the member of the Council of State was also busy. He secured an interim injunction from another high court. This order is a legal muzzle. It specifically prohibits EOCO from continuing its investigations, inviting him and his company, arresting him, or maintaining the wanted declaration on their platforms. Unsurprisingly, he was seen in a Durbar by the military in Ho. By law, this victory lasts only 10 days. It's a temporary ceasefire, not a final peace treaty. The parties must now prepare for the next heavyweight round, the application for interlocutory injunction. That may also stay processes for a long time. I am a lawyer in active practice for some 16 years. I know the rules just too well. Now, because this matter has become a complex web of appeals, pending of the stay of execution applications and injunctions and petitions, I will pause here. Raymond Archer tells me he and his men are working in the national interest, pursuing suspects regardless of their standing in society or weight in a political party. We must let the wheels of justice turn. And that is my take. Be right back with my guest. You're welcome back, and let's get right into it. My guests in the studio right now are J. Kwabena Bonfe, Junior PhD. He's lecturer at UPSA and CEO of Census. We're joined on Zoom by Maria Awalana Ada, and we have Victor Kojo Adawudu. He's managing partner, Lord and Lord's Legal Practice, and member of the NDC Legal and Communications team. These days, he's involved in reforming the law. Kofi Bento, my good friend, the rebel, lawyer and senior vice president, Imani Africa, Nana Ejay Bafo Ewa, Rebel Plus this week, vice chair, subsidiary legislation committee, and member constitutional and legal affairs committee of parliament. Now, I was with you in the Supreme Court. We were sitting together and chatting. I finished my process. I was leaving. You also finished quickly. You joined me. I asked you where you were going. Say, I'm entering that place to do something. If you had told me this is what you were going to do,
something. Something.
I would have kept you company for longer.
Something. You know, you and I have had a lot of private conversations about how I think our judiciary must be reformed. We've bottled a lot. We've bottled a lot in over a period of time.
True.
And so when you have people like us come out in the manner which we came out, you know that it's not in a
most
vacuum.
Unusual.
It's most unusual. It couldn't have been without provocation. You see, there was a time in the Bible, Jesus entered the temple with a whip. And for me, the best example, excellent leadership, is the leadership of Jesus Christ as a Christian. It tells you that there are times when something should be done out of character to change a system. Unless something is done out of character to change a system, then we are going to go with the status quo. Nothing will change.
True.
Nothing will change. I mean, how can you have a situation where somebody even makes a bail application and the judge can say, not in connection with the one that got me provoked, then the judge can say, we are adjourning for 2 weeks. And then adjourning for 2 weeks to rule on the bail application, and the person should go on remand. So it tells you that a lot.
We'll get to that discussion. But since I have some good lawyers here, Kojo, what do you think? Some say that is an indictment on those judges. Looks like they're unprepared, or unless they are up to something deliberate. Mere bail application, and you adjourn for 2 weeks. Someone's liberty is at stake. You adjourn for 2 weeks. If you won't grant them the bail, just don't grant them. So they take a decision what next to do.
Something that is the ideal situation. That's what ought to happen. In that when you make a bail application, you can even make an oral application. You don't need to, in the first instance, to put an application in motion.
We really never. It's always oral.
It is sometimes when you finish the first one, you are refused. Then the next one, you come with an application.
Right.
And these days, I think one of the things that the judges ought to be doing, and must be
some of the judges.
Yes, some of the judges.
Because they are judges.
Even most.
They are judges who will not even wait to listen to you. Once the plea is taken, they say, I am minded to grant bail. These are the terms.
That is
don't wait for you to talk.
Yes, exactly.
Judges.
Yes.
We
shouldn't say judiciary. That's the point. Going forward, we should single them out.
When we discuss that.
That's the point I'm getting to. That you see the act of preparing and giving bench ruling. Because it is presumed that the law is within your bosom. So whilst the facts you have read and you see the issues as this one, I have to grant bail. Without even the lawyer arguing, because you have read the processes already. But where some judges would come in, they are not prepared, they've not even read, and after the ruling, whilst bail should not be used as a punishment, they come and say, okay, can we adjourn and I'll go and come. Once you know very well that while somebody is in custody, he cannot be there more than 14 days, 2 weeks. Then you ask him and you say, I'll give the ruling 2 weeks to determine whether...
You are the Law Reform Commission.
Oh, yes.
You're supposed to be reforming the law.
Exactly.
Is this one of the things that will, get your attention?
There are a lot of things.
There are rules. There are rules about how to go about it.
What I see there is a disconnection between the Law Reform Commission, the Rules of Law Committee and Parliament. There is no coordination and complementarity.
Okay. You ensure that, Kofi. So my brother Adaudu, this should concern you, and yeah, there's this disconnect, but work it. You see, you say bail should not be a punishment. It's a matter of rights and all the things that we know. Okay, it should be the rule that you are going to be giving bail, and the exception rather should be argued. So that's another matter. Samson, we all have been part of what you are discussing, and
the Constitutional Review Commission has actually treated this, including investigations that take forever and prosecutions that take forever. Yes. One of the proposals I put before them was that there should be timelines for prosecution. Yes. If you can't do a prosecution over 6 months, you leave it. You may ask for permission to get about 1 more month. If you can't finish it, let the person go. Yes. And investigators, as we understand, can say they're investigating you for years. They will seize your passport. There are people who are complaining about their passports being seized all over the place. And for years, they are holding on. And their life has come to a standstill.
I think Martin Prebu settles that matter.
So we are
when Benin says that there is no time frame for investigation, you cannot hold the person, so you can't just come and say investigation continues. Why did you arraign the person before court?
When you are not ready.
When you are not ready. When you have been given the power to grant bail.
We should resist the urge to give complex reasons to things when simpler reasons will suffice. And I'm saying this because, look, we are beating up the issue of why should somebody say, I'm adjourning to give a ruling on bail. It is deliberate. It's a plan. Don't give a complex reason when the simpler one will suffice. The person knows that they shouldn't do that. They are using some sort of arrangement to make sure you are remanded. Why would you adjourn for a bail hearing? And when we hear some of the things that have happened this week,
and bail is discretionary, right? Exercise of discretion.
It is discretionary.
You want to think about the discretion you want to exercise over 1 week or 2 weeks.
Exactly the point. So we here understand. Even though it's discretionary, it's a matter of rights. Should not be used as punishment and all those things, which is why the law reform people should make sure that is the rule. The exception is what should be argued. So I'm saying, look, the judges are our friends.
Right.
All right. We sat with them in class. We give them the names of God. I tell the young people all the time, when you sit before a judge, that person is not the guy you knew. He's called my Lord. Worship. All right. Because they have the power of life and death in their hands. And for that reason, we defer a lot to them. But it is also true that sometimes they take things so far, it becomes absurd. And the simpler reasons will suffice. In this particular case, sometimes you may not like the person, and for that reason, you punish them. It's not right. It is not right. Do substantive justice and let us proceed with it. And let the system run.
Thank you. Doc, you've been observing this. What do you say briefly? Because people were really angry that a speech offense, which for a long time we have said there's a problem with the speech offense. Of course, we will be discussing where to draw the line, because to be frank with you, some people just abuse their right to speech. Right.
So true. So at the heart of this is the issue of public trust, which is anchored in the work and the relationship that exists between law enforcers and those who adjudicate, and in this case, the court. And all these must be seen by the people. At the heart of what is done at the executive level, the judiciary, and the legislature is how the citizenry decode what we see. Now, if we cannot have trust of fairness, of consistency, of principle from the courts, but that one would sit as my Lord, as your worship, and decide that he will look at Ajay Balfour's face and give judgment, look at Kwabena Bonfa's face and give judgment, then where do we go? And this is where I like to refer to what former Vice President of the United States, Hubert Humphrey, in his small book, this small book, The Cause is Mankind, at page 25, he says, the law can be no better than the people who are called upon to administer or obey it. So it is duty, imposed on us, especially those who have been called into the revered or elevated office of adjudication, to ensure that we can have trust in what they do. And lastly, I think it is incumbent on the bar. I mean, the judges don't cease to be members of the bar when they have, sorry, the association of the bench. So when they meet and there is interaction between the bar and the bench at the unofficial level, what kind of conversation takes place? And this is where I think we need to nail it and make sure that we live up fairly with one another. Thank you very much.
Maybe I start with with you on the OSP. Justice Eugene Nyante-Nyadu has been top in the news since, was it Thursday or Wednesday? He says, I hereby order the Attorney General to take over all prosecutions currently being handled by the OSP. That was after he had declared that the OSP does not have a warrant of the Attorney General to conduct prosecutions. And so the prosecutions it has done, the convictions it has done, they are void, and the prosecutions that are pending in the various courts, he's ordering that they should be taking over. The Attorney General says they are taking steps to do that. And in fact, they are ready to give the OSP the authorization if they apply.
First of all, this conversation that has occupied the public space within this week is, in my view, not an isolated case. Indeed, there are other issues involving the IOCO, which used to be Serious Fraud Office, that fall under the same perimeter. The FDA, GRA, immigration with powers to prosecute in their various acts that establish them. So what is happening for me is a symptom of how we are living as a people within a state. And you look at 5 key things: the law and parliament, the occupants of office of public trust and their conduct, the constitution as the parent law, the people generally as citizens, and then the principles that are supposed to guide us and how we somersault or flip-flop our positions with regards to that. These are the key things. But I want to precede my submission with 3 quotes. First, from Benjamin Franklin, who in 17 September 1787, at the convention that adopted the United States Constitution, after all the deliberations and the terms, he said, on the whole, sir, I cannot help expressing a wish that every member of the convention who may still have objections to it would with me on this occasion doubt a little in his own infallibility and make manifest our unanimity, put his name to this instrument. So they came to adopt a constitution not without faults, but that they will work with it and improve upon that. Indeed, less than 5 years, in 1791, they had the first amendment. Second, Maya Angelou says in her book, How I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, that it is not, people will remember you for not what you said or did, but how you made them feel. And lastly, the quote that I gave from Hubert Humphrey, that the law is as good as we the people. The conversation about having a separate office from the Attorney General has been going on for a very long time. I have in my hand here this lecture that was given by Vintage AKP Kluje in 2010, J.B. Dankwa Memorial Lecture. And he dealt with the Office of Attorney General at page 143. This is what he says. Of late, there have been a debate on whether the Office of Attorney General should be separated from the Office of the Minister of Justice. And he goes on to deal with, some of the issues that people have raised. Then he adds this at page 145. In Ghana, we have the tendency to blame the system whenever it does not work to our entire satisfaction. We then demand that the law be changed or the system be restructured. To me, it should not be too much whether the office of Attorney General is unified with the office of the Minister of Justice and held by the same person as the present arrangement ordains. What matters to me are the personalities of the main officials and their commitment to good governance, the rule of law, and advancement of the protection of fundamental human rights, human and civil rights. This is what he says. And he goes on to deal with various suggestions, including possibly electing the Attorney General at popular elections and the various nuances that are with it. Samson, if you recall, in 2018, when this OSP was being discussed, I penned an article and I made a quote, or I said something that I shared with you yesterday. And I said, we'll come to this point. Because in 1993, when the bill establishing the Serious Fraud Office was being discussed, the late Justice J.N.K. Taylor offered this article in the Legislative Alert about the unconstitutionality of the Serious Office. The arguments he advanced suffice in this conversation.
Unconstitutionality of
the Serious Fraud Office,
now
which is now
and
they are in tandem with what is happening at the OSP. But you see, what I find strange is the unprincipled nature of some of the key actors in this matter, particularly the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine. Of course, Dr. Sirnsai held brief for him in representing the Attorney General. But the key person is the Attorney General. When they were passing this bill into law, go and check the parliamentary records. His contribution to making it come to effect and be seen as curing the call for a referendum, as some of us held, because we felt that that law, in its strictest understanding, would be amending Article 88, which is entrenched.
I thought that his stance then aligns with the present position taken by the plaintiff in the suit in the Supreme Court, and for which they have filed their submissions supporting that.
Which is that? Did you read about the something they call standing authorization and delegated authorization? Who introduced those words? He. And because of his academic credentials, it was taken. And that is why, if you look at his conduct, including entering nolli prosequi in some cases that he was counseled for, when he had not become Attorney General, beg of his consistency to principle. And I don't think people in public office should go that line. At the end of the day, the consistency of your arguments tell the credibility that one should have in you. Then the whole conversation about if indeed we as a people believe the office of Attorney General is not good enough to help us fight corruption, and we want to change it. Nobody forced us to adopt the Constitution in 1992, which came into force in 1993, to say that there are provisions in the Constitution that are entrenched and that you cannot amend them through parliamentary legislation or subsidiary legislation, and that you must go through a referendum. If we are so inclined or we so strongly believe that we must amend them, why don't we go through a referendum? Why the haste? And then we change it and we come full cycle in this kind of arguments. For me, I believe that we as a people have not been faithful to the Constitution and to the law. And that's why we are going around in this. Then it comes to the people who are occupying the office of Special Prosecutor today. Just this morning, I think one of the lawyers for Dr. Hamid Abdul Mustafa has contradicted a post by Samida Akum. And you wonder why the haste to put out information when you are going through a certain process of law. Should the law argued in court be put out in the media as if the courts are disabled, or if you like, not fully fit to deal with the matter head on? Must we fight the matter that should be fought in court in the media? I think that also comes to the fore. But largely, the article penned by Martinamidu is of interest to me, which is that he is not surprised at this suit. And that even when he was invited by former President Akufo-Addo, some of the issues regarding constitutionality, he raised them. And the president assured him that, well, let's leave that to the courts to handle when they come up. And he picks or paints the picture of both the negatives and the positives in the whole conversation going on. But he picks on the Attorney General's conduct, particularly. And the courts, for declining, the attempt by the OSP to join the case pending at the Supreme Court. So again, Samson, it comes up. I read the judgment of the High Court, and with the greatest respect to those who know better, I think it was an application of quo warranto, which the High Court is properly seized with to be able to pronounce on. Did he exceed his limits or his powers? I think there's a matter pending before the Supreme Court, and perhaps if the Supreme Court is minded or the attention is drawn to it, they will bring the matter to a possible conclusion. I want to conclude that at the end of the day, we as a people must choose and accept that once we have adopted constitutional democracy, the burden of democracy is fidelity to the law, even when it inconveniences us. And that nothing else can compensate for any attempt to disobey or short-circuit the process of the law. Thank you.
You mentioned the Attorney General and suggested that his position today is inconsistent with his position when the bill was being discussed, including the debates on the floor of Parliament on the 1st of November 2017. I read to you the Hansard, what he said.
No, it was settled.
He rose to, the Speaker asked if there was any objection to claims, suggestions that had been made, especially by Mr. Banda. Mr. Banda has said that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move clause 4, subclause 2, line 2, before authorize, insert B. I would read 4.2, the rendition is, now he quotes, subject to clause 4 of Article 88 of the Constitution, the office shall, for the purpose of this act, be authorized by the Attorney General to initiate and conduct the prosecution of corruption and corruption-related offenses. This is what you have in the law now, Section 4. Thank you. Then Dr. Ayini rose, and the Speaker asked him, any objection? This is what Dr. Ayini said. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to propose a further amendment because we have not indicated the mode of authorization by the Attorney General.